I'm Sarah. I'm a multi-hyphenate creative and a reformed sad girl. Welcome to my channel where I share vlogs and art and comedy and talk about mindset. Today we're talking about how to be happy. Yeah, I'm going to make you happy. I'm gonna fucking make you happy. Yes, but today we're gonna talk about how to be happy and why should you listen to me? Who am I? I don't have a 5 a.m. routine. I haven't published a book. I haven't even made it by any traditional metric. I'm 36. I'm single. I'm childless. I'm not rich. I'm a mid-level career, failed actor, and I am barely good looking. I mean, I'm kind of good looking. But am I hot? Just kidding. I don't talk about myself like that anymore. I used to be a very sad girl. I'm talking certified, card-carrying, spiral every day kind of sad girl. Like, I know sadness, okay? I know what it's like to cry on a train, on a plane, in the back of an Uber, in the front of an Uber. Crying at work, crying in a bath, crying in a shower, crying in a man's mouth. I know sadness, okay? I didn't have a glamorous transformation, but what I do have is how I feel. And how I feel now is lighter, it's calmer, it's more myself. So in this video, I'm going to share the mindful practices that I have picked up over the last 8 or so months that have transformed the way I think and feel and have allowed me to bring in more love, more peace, more joy, more gratitude, and more abundance to my life every single day. So if that sounds like something you want, well, buckle in, okay? Because we're going for a very chatty ride. Who am I?
Now would be a good time to add a disclaimer of sorts. I think I've made it clear that I'm not an expert, and I'm only sharing what has helped me. Take it, leave it, whatever.
Practice number 1. Tip number 1. Meditation. Heard of her? The rumors are true. Meditation is the shit. It is the foundation for everything that comes next. I have dabbled in meditation for years. I used to teach yoga. Yoga can be considered a precursor to meditation. You know, it's getting your body and your mind ready to sit in stillness, to connect with your higher self. Those were the moments that I was able to sit in meditation, was usually post yoga. Besides that, if I hadn't done yoga and I was just asked to sit and to follow my breath and listen to my thoughts, I couldn't do it. I didn't connect with it. I really struggled. And part of that was, it felt like there was no goal, which, ironic, I know, because the goal is there is no goal. You should just be. Maybe I just never had a teacher that was able to explain it to me in a way that clicked, but I just was never able to have a steady practice and essentially gave it up for a long while. That was until last year or so. I was dating this very charming, goofy ass British guy who was super into meditation. So of course, I was super into meditation, you know? Not really, but because of him and his interaction with it and my witnessing of that, it did pique my interest more. But eventually that relationship ended, and I found myself a new man, a new meditation man. And He goes by the name of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, the amount of times that I've talked about this man in the last, 10 months, my friends think I'm in a cult. The cult of Daddy Joe. But his meditations have really worked for me. Now, they are different, for sure, but what helped me the most to get into them was he explains the science behind meditation, behind the work, behind how the body and the mind, that connection to consciousness, how all of that affects you and your life. So when you're doing his meditations, it's not just, hey, sit there, connect to your breath, although that's part of it. It's more like, okay, first let's train your body and your mind to get back to the baseline of who you are. Let's connect back to the infinite space that's all around you and within you. And then from there, you can start to imagine and visualize a vision of your future. Okay, I know, sounds kind of kooky, but essentially his meditations teach you how to be the creator of your reality. Sure, they get you in touch with consciousness, with your own consciousness, with the larger consciousness. But then from there, it's great, now that we are tapped into this ultimate creator energy, let's use it to build a much better building much better life for ourselves. So you're holding this vision of your future, and then he also asks you to sit in the elevated emotions of your future. So he tells you, feel joy now, feel abundance now, feel gratitude now, because you want to feel like the version of yourself that has the love, that has the wealth, that has the peace. And that just has really worked for me. I was hooked almost immediately because I could generate those feelings. After getting to this baseline and sitting in this infinite space, then I had the space to open my heart and practice feeling good, because it is a practice. You do have control over the emotions of yourself to a degree. And it was very cool. It was very cool when I first started opening my heart. I could literally feel my heart open. It felt like an ache. I had to Google. I had to get on Reddit. I was like, has anybody else experienced this? So that's number one. And it's massive. It's massive. And did it solve everything? No. But it has me returning to myself again and again and again, and returning to these good feelings again and again and again. I will say also, there were times when I was so sad or just kind of unhappy with my circumstances, with, the 3D reality that's around me, that oftentimes I would find myself going to sit in meditation because it felt better than my reality. But now, having a steady practice, it's almost like I start my days in already feeling connected and in touch with those elevated emotions. Ooh. Tip number 2, journaling. God, I love to journal. I love journaling. I have journaled on and off for years. I have journals still from middle school. Maybe I'll read them to you sometime. They're mostly poems. Okay, I'm editing the video and I decided, you know what? Let's read those poems from middle school. So, teen depression, how to deal. I was really going through it in 2003, I think this was from. As the lights go dim, my eyes are shut. He's gone, and the pain is worse than what any knife could cut. I never thought I would get. I never thought I would get so pissed that oh shit, I maybe shouldn't read this one. Oh boy, oh boy. September 16th. My thoughts may be distorted. What's wrong with me? I look in the mirror, and what do I see? Someone I don't want to know. Someone I can't control. I think I was just like making up reasons to be sad. State of lust. The touch of your skin makes my body tingle. When you place your hand in mine, I'm no longer single. Okay, well, that's enough of that. Journaling is like a shower for my brain. It allows me to rinse out the thoughts. I sit down, I don't have a goal of what I'm going to write about, I just brain dump. And there are so often times when I come to journal, I'm like, this day was shit ass, fuck, cunt, this shit, I feel bad. You know, it's like just a lot of negative stuff up at the top because it just gets, you know, when you've been stuck in a cycle for so long, it's just easy to keep spinning around in that circle. And so getting it down on paper just gets it down. And I always find by the time that I'm done journaling, especially when I'm in those ranting moods, at the end of the journal, I'm like, I love you, Sarah. You're so sweet. You're the most beautiful girl in the world. You're so smart and sexy and funny and cool. You know, it turns into a pep talk. So that's one reason why I love journaling so much. I think the other is the more I do it, the more it has allowed me to stay in touch with my thoughts in general, my goals, and it allows me to take in my days. Now, what do I mean by that? It allows me to just to appreciate my days more because I'm writing about them. And you know, journals can be a little boring, but that's part of life, is those just like washing dishes and sweeping the floor. You know, it's going for a while. You know, it's not always flashy and sexy and whatever. So journaling makes me appreciate that. Plus, going back and reading old journal entries is so affirming, especially when it's an entry that is where I was really sad and it's like, oh baby Sarah, like I have so much empathy for my past self, and I'm like, you didn't know what you know now and you're doing so good, I'm so proud of you. Or like, oh, you were so sad, but look, you've overcome that. And you can even see like myself kind of talk, like in the entries you can see myself talking myself out of the funk that I'm in. But then there's days when I'll go back and I'll read an entry and I forgot about this day. I forgot about the events that took place that day, and I will get to relive it. And there's been so many lovely, sweet moments that I get to reflect on because I wrote about it. It's also a fun manifesting tool, not just for the scripting aspect of it, that's a whole other thing, but to watch things unfold sort of in real time, because I have the evidence of where I was and where I am now on certain topics, and you can see the strings connect, which is fun. In general, in summary, journaling is just a beautiful reminder that your life is worth paying attention to. Do we like this outfit? Do we like this top? I decided to dress up for you today. If you have watched a lot of my vlogs, I'm normally in my jams, looking real scrummy, scuzzy, fuzzy, dummy. moving right along to number 3, affirmations. But affirmations, I know, ugh. But hear me out. Here's the secret about affirmations. They are just thoughts that you choose to think. What? Mind-blowing, right? For a long time, affirmations, I wanted to believe in them, but they were empty sentences. They were things, they were these stupid little, fluffy little, gaggy little sentences that I would find on Pinterest. You know, like, I am full of joy and gratitude. And that sounds all nice and dandy, but it didn't mean shit to me. They didn't feel true because they weren't personal. They weren't personalized to what I needed to work on. They weren't affirming against my limiting beliefs. So in order to really get use out of affirmations, number 1, you need to look at your limiting beliefs. Like, you need to do a bunch of shadow work and journal about, you know, these areas that you feel stuck, whether it's a relationship or whether it's just love in general or friendships or money or career, whatever, wherever your sticking points are. Journal on those, dive into those, ask yourself, why do I feel that way about that? And then once you find that out, then you can start creating a list of affirmations to think the opposite of that. So, for example, let's say that I had a belief that nobody listens to me. Like, that just in one way or another always kind of showed up in my mind. My affirmation for that would be, my voice is always heard. People love hearing what I have to say, etc., etc. And that resonates more. So it's more likely to mean something to you. It's more likely to cause a change because you're invested in that new story, because for so long you were living that old one. And you might not feel anything right away by saying it. But that's kind of not the point. You have to keep saying it, you have to keep returning, and you have to saturate your mind. So some days, yeah, I do robotic affirming, and that can help quiet a chaotic mind. Other days, I see affirmations as little life rafts. Like, I'm going about my day, it's a good day, I'm out and about and I'm triggered by something. Then I will immediately return to a good thought to replace the potential of a spiral from that. I hope that's making sense. I can dive in deeper. I can give more examples, but I think this is a good general explanation. And they vary. You know, I've got affirmations for so many areas of my life. Like right now, I'm walking around my apartment going, I am worthy of receiving thousands of views on my videos, you know? Because one of the things I'm working on is entering my receiver mode. Because what I found out is I was affirming, you know, my videos always go viral, but I don't know if I was journaling or talking out loud or whatever I was doing, but I was kind of digging in deeper into this, and something in general that I work on is my worth and being able to receive good things. And so I just maybe randomly one day was like, I am worthy of receiving thousands of views on my videos, and something about that felt vulnerable and scary, and I almost doubt, like, I think there was like a flicker in my mind where I was like, do I though? Do I actually just, is my shit really that good? And that's when I knew, oh, this is an affirmation that I should keep saying. This is potent because it brought something up. So I had to kind of revert back to, I am worthy of going viral, versus just saying my videos are going viral. I had to dig deeper and go, my videos are worthy of receiving thousands of views. Just, that's one example. Yeah. So essentially the goal isn't to immediately believe what you're saying, but it's to get more comfortable every day with those new good thoughts. Whew, okay. Speaking of affirmations, this leads really nice into the next tool practice tip. Sleep tapes. Yeah, I know. Are they a placebo? I don't know. Maybe. Do I care? No, I don't. I don't care. I fall asleep almost every night to some kind of sleep tape, whether that is one I found on YouTube or one that I've made myself. And I genuinely believe these words seep themselves into my subconscious. I do. And here's why. When I first uncovered the limiting beliefs surrounding my relationship to love and my relationship to relationships in general and men, I kept coming across these feelings of not feeling chosen, not feeling worthy, feeling unlovable, all that icky stuff, just because of, past relationships, past cycles that I have repeated. And so I made myself a sleep tape where, I was saying affirmations of like, I am chosen, I am magnetic, I am, I don't know, lovable, blah, 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 whatever. And I shit you not, the first night that I put that sleep tape on, I had 2 dreams about 2 different exes. The first dream, it was I went over to his apartment and I met his new girlfriend and I felt nothing. Like I wasn't like jealous. I didn't really care. In fact, I was like, hey, how's you doing? How's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And then I went into the next room where there was a pool and my friend, who is also like, my age and single, and I just sat next to her feeling real calm, like next to the water. Hello? Symbolism, water, emotions, chilling with a friend, like whatever, not even paying attention to the ex, like, hey-o. And then the other dream I had, I was in a crowd and I saw my ex, an ex that really fucked me up. And he was with his wife and their child, and they were on a train, and the train was leaving the station, and I was waving goodbye to them. I mean, hello, clearly my subconscious was working through stuff, I don't know. So I'm a big fan of sleep tapes now. Even if like sleep tapes don't enter your brain like while you're sleeping or change you while you're sleeping, it has been really nice to go to bed with these kind words playing in the background, and I will repeat them to myself as I fall asleep. So instead of me thinking about my day and that dumb fucking thing that I said to my coworker and like, ew, that was so stupid, that little how I ordered coffee at the coffee shop. I was like, I love you too. Instead of thinking about like the minute, dumb, stupid details from a day where you could just like fixate and spiral on, instead I have these beautiful thoughts of like, I am so grateful for my life as you go to bed. Like, beautiful. It's like a little prayer every night. So we've been talking like we're really paying attention to our thoughts, right? All these tips have got you really thinking about the thoughts and what's going on in your mind, right? And a big part of that success, I think a big reason why affirmations work, and I think a big benefit of meditation, is you're able to have a stronger mental diet. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but essentially it's just watching your thoughts, the ability to separate yourself from your thoughts. Obviously, meditation, huge for that. But we're just looking at this idea of watching your thoughts throughout your entire day. So, one reason why affirmations have been so effective for me is because I am watching my thoughts all throughout the day. And so when a negative thought pops up, an unfavorable image, a memory that was an old story that I had about myself, whenever that comes up, I can recognize it and then affirm against it. But it takes practice. And a lot of the times before I can affirm against it, I have to pause and stop and clear it away. So I guess it's nice that I live alone, but I will be, walking around my apartment and some fucking situation ship will enter into my brain and I'm like, no, Sarah, no. we're not thinking about that. Or I'll be, watching TV and something will remind me of something and a thought will pop up and I'll just be I'll literally just pretend to wipe the thought away. You know how Dumbledore takes his little wand and he scoops out a memory and puts it into his little memory pot? That's kind of what I'm doing. I can see the cloudy, smoky thought just dissipating. Or other times I will have to physically shake it out. Whatever I can do to stop myself in the tracks of the bad thoughts, the scary thoughts. I gotta stop them. I'll do whatever I can. Yeah. Okay, what else? The point is, I pay attention now. I do not let myself get sucked in. I control. I'm the boss. I'm the boss of this. Woo! Am I though? Clearly I'm insane. Okay, and something I want to mention briefly, since we're in this area of watching thoughts and all of that, is it leads me to want to mention self-concept work. And if you're not familiar with what self-concept is, it is basically just your belief about yourself. And as I mentioned earlier, shadow work, journaling, all of that is going to help you dive into those limiting beliefs, those thoughts that you weren't even aware that you held about certain areas of your life. And all of those thoughts lead to beliefs and create this story of you. And if you're someone like me who's 36 and I've been in this body for 36 years, I have been wired and programmed this way for years, and there's a lot to undo, There's a lot to keep too, but if I need to change, I have to let go of this old story and build a new story for myself. And creating a better story of myself for myself has changed so much, because I get to choose how I show up. I get to change so I can be better. I feel like I'm kind of losing my thoughts a little bit, but I think you're still with me. But yes, changing my self-concept, changing the story that I hold about myself and what is possible for myself, and not limiting myself to what I have done before and only sticking to that as if that's the truth. I now move forward asking myself questions like, who is my highest self? Like, what does she look like? What does she wear? What does she eat? How does she talk? How does she walk? And then in each moment throughout the day, I can always be like, is this the best thing for the best version of myself? You know? Is this thought helping my future? Is this action helping my future? Is this belief who I really am? So, your brain will believe whatever you tell it most often, so tell it something good. Okay. All right. Now we're down to my final 2 tips. And they're not so much tips, but just sort of a reframed look at how to approach making habits. Consistency. I used to beat myself up for not being consistent, but I viewed consistency as waking up at 7 a.m., meditating for 30 minutes every single day. And if I didn't do it every single day, then I was a failure. I was inconsistent. I was a loser, and I was never going to change. That's impossible to stick to. What I have discovered, especially since I am the type of person who I can be a little scattered. I like variety. There are different actions that I like to take depending on what's going on in my life that day. So now I look at consistency as long as I'm showing up in some way for myself, it doesn't matter if it looks different from one day to the next. But yeah, one day it's meditating in the morning. The next day it's journaling. The next day it's me sitting in a hot bath, affirming my ass off because I just ran into my ex and his new girlfriend at a baby party. Not a true story, but kind of a true story. What does that mean? Basically, the key for me is I am consistently choosing something better for myself every day based on what's achievable and what feels best for me in those moments. I don't need a 20 fucking step routine every morning and night. No. No. You just need to keep showing up often. Okay, and this last one's real quick. It's discipline. I have reframed how I think about discipline. For me, discipline always felt so strict, so restrictive. I felt extremely boxed in. I felt extremely boxed in by discipline. But as I've been going on this journey with myself, this journey of life, I've discovered that discipline is self-care. Oh, this makes me want to talk about self-care in general and kind of why I hate that fucking term and how self-care has been like bastardized by brands and just influencers and content creators like society as a whole is like self-care. But it's like self-care is getting your nails done and getting a latte. But self-care is really, it's flossing. It is doing the dishes. It is caring for yourself in loving ways. And discipline to me is the same. Discipline is devotion. It is loving to vacuum your carpet. It is loving to take a hot shower in the morning and blow dry your hair and get ready for the day. It is loving to do a face mask at night and then look in the mirror and go, I love you, I love you. You know, that self-care. And but all that stuff takes discipline. You know, is it fun to floss? No, but how sweet of you is that to do that for your gums, for your teeth, these things that allow you to eat delicious food and experience life. You know, it requires discipline to take care of yourself in the best way possible. So yeah, I think reframing, you know, discipline and these acts of service that you do for yourself that are like these, they feel like new habits. They feel like you kind of like you begrudgingly have to do them. Reframe it as an act of love for yourself, and it's helped me. You know, I'm not perfect every day. Jesus Christ, no. Jesus Christ. But, you know, I'm better than I was the day before. Yesterday, Sarah can eat shit. Just kidding. I love her. I love her so much. And she's my child. She's the reason I'm here today. What am I saying? I'm losing my mind. Whew! Okay. Bam! I think that's it. Those are the mindful practices that this insane, beautiful, hilarious woman uses, who was very, very sad for a very, 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 very long time. I feel like I should also mention that I do take an antidepressant, and listen, there's a lot that I could say about that in general, but I felt like I needed to put that out there since we're talking about mental health, that is a tool that I use as well. And there's no shame in that. Can you tell that I have felt shame about that in the past? But yeah, anyways, these are the mindful practices that I use. These are essentially the foundation from which I've been able to build out this beautiful life that I know that I have and I know is ahead of me. There's many other things that I do, but I wanted to start with the mind first because I believe like that's where it starts. Maybe I'll do some videos on like what I do for my body in terms of like yoga or like nervous system regulation, etc. Maybe I will talk about how I've approached relationships and friendships and community, or other things, just like how I approach my environment. Because yeah, like I said, I was a very sad girl for a very long time, a certified saddie, and I'm in a really lovely, interesting place where I'm past that, but I'm not quite to where I'm, where I want to be, where I've like received a lot of things that all this work is helping me get. So I hope me sharing my journey while I'm in the midst of my journey is helpful for you. So yeah, if you like this video, like it, give it that thumbs up, comment, because I like to talk clearly, and subscribe so I can get monetized, quite frankly. But also because community.